Anytime? Yeah, there we go. Gone live. Yeah. I'm gone. I'm going live. Yeah. Okay. Hey, good morning. April the 13th. Saturday, halfway through the month. Almost. For those of you who have procrastinated, you got a couple of more days to get your taxes in. And trust me, I know there are a few of you out there who haven't done your taxes yet. So get her done. How you doing? Yeah, I'm trying to still get my chair adjusted. There we go. I'm trying to get my chair adjusted here. Yeah. So how you doing? It is gloomy here today. It's warm. I've got the fan on over here, like blowing a little bit of air on me. The temperatures have been in the 60s and the 70s of late. And it started raining about 5 p.m. yesterday and rained all night. So it's real humid this morning. I mean, like, sticky humid. You can feel it. It's really been uncomfortable. And we still can't turn the AC on in the building. Yeah, they control the AC from a master area. So for anybody to get AC, they have to turn it on for the entire building. And apparently it's something they don't do until like the end of April. I even heard the building manager was complaining. He was calling up to say, look, I'm getting a lot of tenants complaining because we're getting really warm temperatures. And they haven't turned the AC on. So it's not a lot of fun. So yeah, it's warm in all the apartments. Everybody's complaining about it. And this is something we go through every year. It seems like it gets warmer earlier on and everyone's complaining and they won't turn the AC on because, I don't know, the guy who owns the building is cheap or some shit. I don't know. Slumlord. But yeah, I mean, I'm dressed for winter. I'm dressed for it. So what's happened? Surprisingly enough, this is going to be another one of those good news, bad news videos. And I do have good news. I have a lot of good news. Yeah. First off, I did my taxes. Yeah, I was one of those people procrastinating this week, and I did my taxes on Tuesday. Got up Tuesday morning and did my taxes. And I was really dreading this because I was like, oh, God. Now, I didn't pay any state taxes to Pennsylvania, so I ended up owing them almost $1,400. It was $1,388, which I was like, that's $1,388 I don't have. But I did my federal. And this is the first time in, like, I swear to God, 20 years I've done just a straight up 1040. Because it's just me and standard deduction. That's it. I don't have any of this other shit going on. And when I filed it, when I finished it up, I'm looking at it and it's saying I'm getting like $4,600 back. It's $4,610. And I'm going, God, this can't be right. And I actually rechecked the figures like 3 times, and it was correct, because I always have too much money withheld, particularly from, I think it was mostly from my IRA, but also from my pension. I'm having too much money withheld. So I got that back. And that's something I've always done. I mean, there was one year we got something like $6,000 back between money that I withheld from my paycheck and contributions that we made back when I was married. And I know there's always that group of people that are like, don't give the government all that money. They're just going to collect interest on it. The amount of interest they're collecting off of my taxes is shit. I mean, let's face it. It's not that much. And you know, and I know other people will say, well, they're just going to spend that money on stuff I don't want them to spend it on. You mean like they're spending 6 cents out of every dollar you're giving them for like all the goddamn social programs that there are, and 60 cents is going to the military. Yeah, there's shit I don't want my money being spent on, but I have no say on that. I always looked at people like that, like, you know, you guys are nothing but greedy fuckers. I'm sorry. You know, if you're actually thinking that way, it's like, I don't want to give them extra money because it's just going to be spent on shit I don't want them to spend it on. It's another way of you saying I don't want my money going to like food stamps or housing or stuff like that, because deep down inside, you're a dumpster fire who doesn't give a shit about people. You only care about yourself. I'm sorry. That really is the way I kind of look at it. I always have had an objection with people who will do that. The last few years, I've ended up paying like enormous amounts to the government because I didn't withhold enough. In fact, last year, our tax bill was like over $5,000. The year before that, it was like $3,500. The year before that, it was about $4,000. So it's like, you know what? I want to get $4,000 back. I don't want to have to write a check for $4,000 at the end of the year. And next year, I'll probably even get more back, because by the time you figure out the fact that I'm only making about 12, you know, I'm going to make about $1,300. I mean, seriously, I'm going to make about $13,000 for the year. Which means by the time you figure in my standard deduction and the time you figure in, Pennsylvania actually gives you tax forgiveness. And so I'll be getting like a buttload back. I mean, you know, I'm going to be living on pasta the entire year, but, yeah, I'll be getting money back. So, getting $4,600 back. I went yesterday to the license bureau because I have to get new plates for my car by the end of the month. The 28th, my plates run out. And I have the title. I didn't even think about it. I have the title. They gave me the title in the divorce because the car is mine. And I went and I said, okay, is this legit? And they said, yeah. So they started the process. They got the VIN check on the paperwork and all this other stuff. So I'm going to go back at the end of the month. Pennsylvania also only accepts cash, money order, or check. What the fuck, man? Come on. I don't get this goddamn state. I really don't. Indiana, I will say, for all their sins, Indiana lets you pay with a debit or credit card. It's like, why? And they go, well, you know, we have an ATM machine in the lobby. Yeah, and I've got a debit card in my hand. Why don't you just take it off this motherfucking debit card? No. Pennsylvania, they got to be difficult about it. So the game I'm going to play is that you get your license plate here. And then once you get your license plate, you have 10 days to get your car in for an inspection. And then they inspect the car. And if you need to make it street legal, which is to say they found stuff that's wrong with your car and they got to fix it up, then they repair it. And I'm assuming I'm going to end up needing about $1,000 worth of repairs. I have a feeling they're going to come back and they're going to say, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. And it's going to be somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500. So I'm waiting for that tax money to come back to me because I don't have $1,500 right now. I mean, I do, but if I use it to repair the car, I don't have any money for rent. Yeah. So I'm going to play that game of going on like the 26th or 27th to get my license plate, put it on a car. Then I have until like May 5th to get my car in, May 5th or May 6th to get my car in to get it repaired. So I'm hoping against all hope that my tax refund, since it's not coming in the form of a check, it's being direct deposited to my bank account. that I will, have that money in there, and then I could just zip the car in and go fix it. And I'll still end up with I already figured it out. After I pay my Pennsylvania taxes, I'll still have like $3,200. And even if I got to fix 15, that's $1,700 that I'll have. So that'll actually end up getting me through to like the end of June. And by that time, I'm hoping my Social Security will start kicking in. Yeah, hoping. So I will get my car plated. It'll be the first time I've ever bought plates in another state. Yeah. It'll finally have a PA tag on it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's a couple of good things. And then I may actually have a job. And not only that, but it would be a job writing. And my Google is telling me that this video is live right now. So I hope you know that. I may actually have a job writing. I'm not going to name the name of the group, but last Friday, I think, I mentioned that we had been contacted, Rachel and I, Rachel Simbakis, my partner in crime on the Snarking Dead, had been contacted by another magazine, online magazine, and they were interested in having us come and work for them. And I actually did a Skype interview with the editor. And Rachel did a Skype interview with the editor as well. And apparently they're interested in having us both come on and, do our thing for them. I guess it's part of a package deal, but I already submitted samples of stuff that I've written to give them kind of an indication of, what my voice is like. And they found this kind of irreverent. I guess they like our comment. They told us if we're going to swear, and we're still allowed to do so. They told Rachel this. They didn't tell me this. They said if we're allowed to swear, we got to put the asterisk in there. We can't spell the word all the way out. I'm actually thinking of falling back on Farscape nomenclature and using the words Frel and Dren and Hezmana and Tralk and Yachts. So, because there's a lot of things you can do but I'm still waiting to hear. It would be a paying gig. This is it. It would be a paying gig. Rachel was giving me a little bit of info on how she started out with the Inquisitor. And I think, I don't know what her plans are. I shouldn't say I think she's going to do this, but I don't really know what her plans are. But it does look like within the next few days, we're going to get an offer for our services. And for me, if they want me, I'll go. Money is money, baby. I'll take it. And it would involve a lot of writing. Rachel told me how many articles a week she actually writes. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize it. And then when I started thinking about it, it's well, yeah, you do realize it because you do see her output. It pops up on your news feed. So I do have a pretty good idea of how much she writes. So, yeah, I might have a side job. It won't pay much. But then I started thinking about it and I was like, well, it may not pay much, but I could almost make enough money that I will have by the end of the month money for rent. Which is better than being on the street, baby. And over time, it could morph into something else, So paying gig writing, yeah. There's a good possibility this is going to happen. And when it does happen, there will be an announcement. It's kind of like a big deal when they were like, well, we looked at the Snarking Dead and we saw your comments and we really like what how your commentary. And apparently this magazine is looking to do more of that stuff. They want to kind of get away from just straight up news and get into a little bit of irreverency. And I even made the comment, it sounds like what you're trying to do is a little bit like what the AV Club does. And the guy was like, yeah, a little bit. They want to go in that direction. So, waiting to hear on that. That's good news. Any other good news? I'm sure. My birthday's coming up. As a matter of fact, my birthday is 3 weeks from yesterday. And some presents have already started to come in. My friend Lynette, she actually sent me $300, and she said, "Go get yourself a spa day." So I bought a new gear bag and a helmet. Yeah, I'm a derby girl. I bought a new gear bag and a helmet. I had to buy a new gear bag because Monday night when I got home, I'm pulling my gear bag and it's like, what the hell is wrong with my gear bag? It was like really not wanting to roll. And then I discovered one of my wheels had literally came completely apart. It split down the middle and it just had come completely apart and it just wasn't rolling. So you're kind of dragging the bag. And I had a big gear bag. I mean, let's not bullshit each other. It was a big gear bag. It was 32 inches. I even had some of my teammates that were like, you could hide a body in that thing. And I almost made the joke, yeah, sometimes we might have to smuggle Pixel into a joint. We'll put her inside. Yeah, it was pretty big, but now it's like non-rolling. So I looked up like luggage repair because I'm like, oh, I could just put a new wheel on this thing. And I found a place and they said it's $42 to repair the wheel, and you have to supply us with the wheel. You have to buy the wheel and supply it to us because the manufacturers won't give us the wheel. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? And it's going to be like $10 for the wheel. So it's like, by the time this is all said and done, it would cost me like $60 to repair the wheel. I spent $49 on the bag with shipping. I could order a new goddamn bag, I was like, wow, this is kind of fucked up. So I ordered a new gear bag. It's what they call a Zuka. It's a lining insert on a metal frame. And it's nowhere near as big as the one I've got now. In fact, I could put 2 Zukas in my old gear bag. But it's enough that, you can put your skates in there, you can put your pads in there, you can hook your helmet up on the outside, because there really isn't enough room to get all that stuff in. It was really designed more for people hauling around, like professional people hauling around, like stuff like makeup people and cosmetologists and makeup, and hair people, stuff like that. Also, it's good for ice skates. A lot of ice skaters use those because you can throw your skates in there and some other shit. So some derby people use them as well. And you got to make allowances because you can't pack like a ton of shit. And I've done the pack the ton of shit and I've had all this stuff, but then I'm unpacking my bag the other day and it's like, I got 6 rolls of tape. The fuck am I doing with 6 rolls of tape? And I got 2 huge containers of KT tape, which I've never used, and 2 mouth guards and, a bunch of Sharpies and stuff like that. It's like having a smaller bag, having a Zuka would get me to the point where I just bring the shit I need. And that's it. I bring the shit I need and I'm done. So it'll help me be more economical in terms of what I'm actually bringing to practice or what I bring to a bout. Plus, it's also on a metal frame, so people actually sit on these, which is real handy when you're in like a derby situation and you're having to gear up in like a snack area. Or in our case, we actually gear up in a garage. We do. Our dressing room, our locker room is actually the garage at the Overlook. That's where we go. During the winter, yeah, it's nice and cool in there. During the summer, I know it's going to be nice and hot. Temperature, climate control at the Overlook. We're used to the heat. And it will be sticky in there today. I know it's going to be sticky in there today. Oh boy, do I know it's going to be sticky in there today because it's supposed to get up to 76 degrees and it's humid already. So it's going to be like a sticky ass mess today. And I don't know what that's going to do to the floor. I am going to bring along another pair of wheels in case somebody needs them. Because today is bout day. And if you may have noticed, I was saying if somebody else needs my wheels, because this is where we get into the bad news. This has not been a good week for me personally in terms of my body. First off, I had practice on Sunday and I felt pretty good, except I took a helmet to the face. I mean, literally, it just came right at me. We were doing a blocking drill, and the person I was with, it was a case of you had to stand and face the person coming at you, and they came at you, and you had to stop them with your chest. And we had been doing that, and then we got to one part in the drill where the person who was coming at me, she kind of moved to one side, and I moved, and she moved, and I moved, and she moved, and I didn't move because she was right on top of me, and she hit me in the face. She had her head slightly down like this, so I caught her helmet right flat in the face. She hit me in the nose. And I actually thought I'd broken my nose. It was just like, oh my God, radiating painful. And I came off the track, and the first thing I did was I put my face down like this. Put my hand over my face because I'm thinking I may have broken my nose or it's bleeding. And I don't have my eyes open, and I can feel all this fluid beginning to pool in my hand. And I'm thinking my nose is bleeding. And really what it was just saliva. I started salivating because, sometimes that happens. Your saliva glands kick in and you start drooling. And Dash, even, she was coaching, she comes over and she goes, "Are you bleeding from your nose?" And I go, "No, there's like all sorts of shit coming out." Because you don't want to get blood on the track. You don't want to get any fluids on the track. So that was why I got off the track as quickly as I could. I skated off the track and tried not to get anything on. But I went and sat down because my head was kind of spinning after that one too. I don't want to say I got a concussion, but for a couple of days, my head was a little woozy. And it was funny because it was like the person who hit me, she was really apologetic. I mean, it was just one of those things. I even told her, I said, "Don't worry about it." But she was kind of informed that that was a move that could have got you ejected from a game. So you have to kind of watch that. And it was, You don't want to lead with your head. And if you hit somebody in the face, normally the rules indicate that if you hit somebody in the face, you're probably on your way out. I've caught elbows in the face before. I even caught an elbow from Dash once. I was trying to run up on her and block her, and she caught me in the face with an elbow and hit me right here in this cheek. I mean, she hit me hard. I was like, I saw stars for a second. Because Dash was pumping those old arms of hers, and man, when one of those things catch you, this is why we wear mouth guards. This is why we wear a mouth guard. Because I don't want to catch that elbow in teeth. She would have busted out a bunch of my teeth. So anyway, and we had our bout on Sunday in Reading. it did not go well for the Blitz. Yeah, we did not win. We were essentially playing an all-star team. Yeah. Even the couple of all-stars who were on the team even said that. It's like, they're very aggressive. They're playing very hard. And they were. I mean, they were just like kicking ass. Unfortunately, the ass that was being kicked was ours. And I was filming on the sidelines. I was in my jersey. I really was like, oh my God, I feel so bad for them. And at one point, I was like, that's my team out there getting their asses kicked. I wish I was out there with them getting my ass kicked because it just doesn't seem fair. And the funny thing is, when they were doing player introductions at Reading, I'm standing on the sideline getting ready to film, and they're going through player introductions. And at the very end, I hear, and number 882, Nomi Snarks. And I'm like, what? I was like, yeah, here I am. And a couple of my teammates were sitting nearby, and they're looking at me laughing. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I said, how the hell did that happen? And I knew the guy who was doing announcing because I saw him afterwards. I saw him after, and has a partial association with Hard. And I talked to him for a little bit, and he was saying, he was asking me, hey, how you like the team and everything else. And I'm telling him, and I told him about our Continental Cup coming up August the 23rd to the 25th. I'll tell you later, but August 23rd to the 25th, Continental Cup, be there. But the next day, he posted on his Instagram, because I follow him on Instagram, saying that he was, doing the announcing at the Reading game. And he read the lineup straight out of the program. And I'm looking at the program, and there's my picture in the program. Under it says alternate, Nomi Snarks. And I actually asked coaching about that later. I said, I was originally on the roster to play, wasn't I? And she said, yeah, we originally submitted the roster and you would have been on it. And then when we found out we were playing an all-star team, we made changes and you were one of the people that came off the roster. And I was like, okay, But I said, they read the lineup right out of the program. And she was like, yeah, we found out that they did the programs based off of the first roster we submitted. So yeah, and they read it. They didn't read any of the changes because they didn't read like any of the all-stars. We had a couple of all-stars on our team. And one of the other players for the Blitz, she got hurt, so she couldn't play. And she even said, I heard my name called. That's what it was. They read the roster right out of the program. So I was like, there you go. But yeah, I would have been in that game. However, today is bout day, and it's a different story because Monday night at travel team practice, we were doing a drill. And I was pretending to be a jammer for just a short time. And on the last time I had to pretend to be jammer, the thing was, it was a 3-person drill. You had a blocker come out, the jammer engaged the blocker and began pushing on her, and then another blocker comes in running offense. So supposedly it's a blocker on your team, on the jammer's team, and she holds the blocker, hits her out of the way, whatever, and you sprint off. And we were supposed to sprint off, and I sprinted off. And I got this stabbing pain in my lower abdomen. And when I mean stabbing, I mean like an 8 on a scale of 10 pain. It felt as if someone had actually taken a large knife and stuck it in my guts and kind of like pulled across, was, cutting me open, like cutting me like a fish. And it hurt. Like I said, it was about an 8 on a scale of 10. and I doubled over and was like went to the wall and was hanging on the wall, and I was like, I was like in more pain than you could imagine. Although you probably could imagine, especially you women who've had children, you can imagine. And so I sat down and made him come over, and she's like, "How are you?" And I took my helmet off and I'm telling her what I'm having, and I'm crying from the pain and everything else. And I'm crying. And I told her, I said, "You got to take me off the roster." I said, "I'm not going to be able to play. I can't play." I said, "This hurts too much. I can't do this." So she's telling me, you've had this going on for a month now. You need to get this taken care of. She goes, "You got to start taking care of yourself. You got to stop pushing yourself when, you're hurt like this." And again, she made a point of saying, "This has gone on for like over a month. You've had this issue and you're not taking care of yourself. You need to." So I was off skates for the rest of the practice. Along with another of my Blitz teammate who she's off skates as well because she hurt her shoulder. So the next day, I'm still in a considerable amount of pain. I mean, I woke up the next morning and still like it hurt. It hurt real bad. Now, one of our sponsors is a sports medicine group out of Lancaster. So I contacted them and I made an appointment with one of the doctors, the female doctor, because I'm more comfortable with women, whose name happens to be Dr. Payne. I'm not kidding. Her name is Dr. Payne. Hold on a second. I gotta grab something. So yeah, I actually gotta grab a couple of things. I should have done this earlier. There we go. You may have heard me let out a little bit of a yelp there. It's because when I moved, I felt like, lower abdomen still hurt. Yeah. So there we go. So I got in to see Dr. Payne because since they're one of our sponsors, they've even said you'll get like preferential treatment to get in to see them. Because they're our go-to people. You got to go in and see somebody, you go see them, and they'll take care of you. So I got in to see her Wednesday. This is the first time I've seen a medical doctor in a long time. That's part of my problem. I have this thing about going in and seeing doctors. Part of it has been I don't have medical insurance, but another bit of good news. Last week, my medical insurance was extended. In fact, that happened on Saturday after I got my mail and I opened it up and they said, your medical insurance, which is for me, it's paid for by the county, has been extended for another year because I'm only making like $1,000 a month. So I have, full-blown medical insurance for another year, which is great because I don't have to pay for it. So I go see Dr. Payne. She's checking me out. And the conclusion was, and I've got it right here, so the conclusion was I have a strain of the rectus abdominis muscle on my left side. And if you don't know what the rectus abdominis muscle is, when you're looking at like bodybuilders and you see that six-pack in your lower torso, those are your rectus abdominis muscles. And the reason it's a six-pack is because it is segmented into 6 different parts in your lower abdomen. So I strained one of the muscles in the lower left-hand side, the very lower left-hand six-pack. That's what I strained. When I'm blocking, I don't really feel it because I'm using a completely different set of muscles to get down, get low, brace, and take a block from the back. But you use that muscle if you're propelling yourself forward, especially if you're propelling yourself forward quickly, or if you're doing kind of quick lateral motion. If you heard me get up there and I kind of went, like that, it's because I kind of stepped to the side real quick and I felt a little bit of a tug there, which, it's the muscle healing. So I went into practice Wednesday night and I had a letter from the doctor, and it's basically like Cassidy needs to be off skates and she should not play this Saturday. So, and I had even said that. I said, I'm not going to be able to play this Saturday. It would be ridiculous. So I was off skates Saturday. Wednesday. And then one of my coaches came in, Mel. And she said, I need to talk to you. And whenever I get this paranoia, because it's also kind of left over from my days at Hard. When somebody says, I need to talk to you, I instantly like, oh shit, what did I do? And I even said that. I go, what did I do? Like that. And she's like, no, you didn't do anything, but we need to talk. And they had heard that, I was injured. I'd also kind of posted something on my board that I was actually going and seeing the doctor today. So she was asking me, what happened. And I told her. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to be playing. Doctor says I can block, but I have to watch my forward motion. And she's like, okay. And she says, we have to submit the roster for the Hard game tomorrow, because this is happening Wednesday night. And usually Thursday, 2 weeks before the bout, is when the roster is submitted. So out on the forum, usually by Thursday evening or Thursday afternoon, we know who's going to be on the roster for about 2 weeks in the future. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she says, it's coaching's concern that instead of healing up, you're going to try to push yourself to be ready for that bout. Because this is something you've done in the past. You're going to push yourself and you're going to get hurt again. So you're not going to be on the roster. And there was like for about a fleeting second, I was like, oh shit, like that. But I also said, I understand. I get it. And I told her something that had actually come to me late Monday and Tuesday during the day. And that's, I kind of came to the understanding. I really am an athlete. And I know you can stop laughing. There's some of you probably are like snickering right now. Yeah, athlete. No, I really am. I'm trained as an athlete. What I do is an athletic endeavor. It's a team sport. But I have this real bad attitude. And it goes back to all my other times where I don't really take care of myself. And part of that has been because I never really gave a shit about taking care of myself. At this time last year, I keep looking to my balcony because at this time last year, I was trying to figure out what was going to be the best way to go over the edge or just hang myself out on my balcony. It's the truth. So damaging my body was not something I gave much of a shit about. And I was kind of like, I'll skate through it. Well, I had the issue with my groin that went on for about 6 weeks, and I managed to skate through that. I managed to get through that by going off skates a couple of times. And I don't have it there, but now I've got this pull in my lower abdomen. And it comes and goes. I mean, I was at practice Sunday and didn't have a problem. We did a scrimmage the Monday before where I was going out like all the time and I didn't have a problem. Toward the end, I was kind of beat up and banged up, and I sat out the last jam, but it had nothing to do with anything that was happening in my lower abdomen. It was just, I'd taken a lot of abuse, and when the offer came to sit down, I was like, yeah, I'll sit down. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, this was just something that all of a sudden flared up and I tore it. So, and she said, and we're also concerned about, since 6 days after the hard bout is the last bout of the season. It's the 4th of May, and it's the last bout of the travel season. And so I said, look, I told her what I just said. I go, I have to start listening to my body. If I had taken care of this when it first happened, just got off the track and said, I need to go have this looked at. Maybe I need to have this looked at, or at least take a week off and then see how it feels. If I'd done that, I'd be playing today, and I'd probably be playing against Hard. I didn't, so it's on me. I fucked up by not acting like an athlete and saying, you damaged something. You need to go have it looked at. So I told her, I will be off skates for a week. I will miss next Wednesday's scrimmage. We have a scrimmage on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. I said, I will miss that. I said, I will sit out both the team. I'll sit out Thursday practice. I'll sit out Saturday practice. I'll sit out Monday practice. I'll sit out the scrimmage. I will get back on skates next Thursday. I will take it easy. I will limit my forward motion. I will be careful about how fast I'm going. I will not be doing any sprinting. I said, my blocking is okay, but I will watch that. I said, I will know by the following Monday, the last week in April, if I feel like I can do that Wednesday scrimmage, and I will stay in touch with coaching and let you know. I said, if I do that Wednesday scrimmage, I probably expect not to do, a lot of work. So I will also let coaching know at the beginning how I feel. I said, I really would like to end the travel season the same way I started. I started the travel season on the track with my team, with the Blitz. I would kind of like to end the travel season on the track with the Blitz. And I said, I will be ready for the 4th of May. We have a bout. And she says, are you going to? I said, yes, I promise. I will be ready for the 4th. So I made assurances that I am off skates. I'm not going to try to push myself. When I get back on skates, I'm not going to try to push myself. I will keep coaching informed as to whether or not I think I can do the travel team practices and what I can do. And then the same thing with the following scrimmage. If I think I can't do the scrimmage, I will say so. If I think I can do the scrimmage, I will let them know. If I come off and I say, I think I need to sit down, I think you need to pull me out for the rest of the scrimmage, I'll see how I feel. But I really want to be there on the 4th of May for the last bout of the travel season. It's more important to me to end the season with my team than it is to play against a former team. And in fact, I stepped up and said, I'll run the merch table at the hard bout. So I will actually be there in my team jersey, but I'll be running the merchandise table because I'm going to be there to support my team. They're my team. That's me. I was upset when they were getting their ass kicked by Reading. I was. I've never been that way. I've always said I never was really a competitive person until I got into Derby. And then all of a sudden it's like I feel the shit they're going through. Man, it hurt. It hurt to watch my teammates go through the crap they went through. And I really wanted to be out there on the track with them, but I understood why I wasn't. And it's the same way today. Today I will be filming. I will be a videographer. It's going to hurt not to be out there against Keystone. That's who we're playing today. And even one of my teammates said, I understand these next two bouts that you're sitting out, you had really been looking forward to them, but it's a good thing that you chose not to play. Get well. And we have a home team season coming up in September, October, and November. We play 3 bouts. And they all know, I'm going out for the home. I'm just going to say, yeah, I want to be on the home team. They know. Everybody knows. And one of my other teammates, she said, I know you get on the home team. You will get your experience. You are going to be ready for 2020. I said, yeah, I will. I said, I already told coaching. I said, I am going to be on the home team. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, it's going to sting. It does sting. My other teammate who is on the blitz, who is also injured, she's not playing today. And we were kind of standing on the side watching practice on Monday night. And I kind of like in a lull, I said, does it hurt when you're watching everyone play like this and you can't be out there? And she said, yeah, it does. Because I was feeling it. And I have actually heard that from other Derby players too, who will say, if I'm injured and I got to watch everybody else play or drill or scrimmage, it hurts. It hurts not to be with your team. And that's how I was feeling. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It's kind of how I'm going to feel the next couple 3 weeks. But right now, it's important for me to get better so that I can be on the floor for the 4th, even if it's in a limited capacity, even if it's like my first bout where I was only out for 8 jams. I mean, I was probably on the floor for no more than 4 or 5 minutes, but I was on the floor. So off skates for a week. I'm going to miss 2 bouts. Going to take it easy at practice for forward motion. And I saw another of my teammates, she talked to Dr. Payne, because Dr. Payne actually showed up on Wednesday to check up on a couple of our players. And she went over and she said, I need to talk to you. And during Thursday night practice, I saw her actually pull herself out of a drill where there was a certain type of hitting going on. And she skated around the OPR lane. And I understood why, because she probably has a issue with the part of their body that was being hit, and she didn't want to aggravate it. So she just said, I'm out, and skated around. And that's the stuff I should be doing. If it's like, we're going to do this jammer drill where you're going to have to like dig in and sprint, shit like that, I'm going to be like, either I'll just do straight up blocking the whole time, or I'll skate the OPR lane. In fact, I'll probably at first, until I'm really sure I'm okay, I'll probably skate the OPR lane and just say, I'm going to skate. This might get a little too energetic for me. Let me work on my laps here. Keep that endurance up. And actually that helps strengthen the muscles too, because if you're taking it easy, you're using the muscles, but you're helping strengthen them. So I'm doing that. I have physical therapy exercises that I have to do every day in home. And I do have those exercises. I have 5 sets of exercises that I have to do to help strengthen this area. And I actually have outside physical therapy that I'm going to be doing. Have an appointment in a week and a half. But I'll be doing like 2 sets. I'll be doing physical therapy like twice a week. So all this stuff is going on. And I'm also taking an anti-inflammatory twice a day, which has helped considerably. I really don't have any pain getting up now. That was something I used to have. I mean, I'd get up and it was like, it hurts. I don't have any pain getting up. I don't have any pain when I'm walking. If I move quickly laterally, I'll feel it a little bit, but it's nothing like what I had before. It's like a level 1 or 2 pain and then it's gone, just like that. But I made assurances to coaching, and I'm going to stick by them. And I also made assurances that in the future, when this shit happens to me, I will tell coaching, look, I'm pulling myself out. And as my coach said, you're over 60 years of age. You've got to realize you don't recover as quickly. And again, this is something that happened to me when I was on hard, where I was doing a ton of practices all the time. I was doing practices at hard, and then I'd go down and do practices at York, and then I'd come back and do practices at hard. There was one time I did 5 practices in 6 days, 6 practices in 7 days, 7 practices in 9 days. And my coach finally sat me down. I got hurt twice. Once I went down, I had a muscle cramp. And then I twisted an ankle, and she said, that's it. You're done for the night. You've hurt yourself twice. You're done for the night. And she actually ordered me. She said, I don't want you going to York anymore. She says, you do your 2 nights of practice with us, and that's it. I don't want you going to York until further notice, because you're wearing yourself out. And I was. That's the problem. I was so worn out that I just couldn't keep going. And the same thing happened 39 consecutive practices at Dutchland. And finally, a couple of people said, you need to listen to your body. And so I started taking it easy. But even with my coach, she said, you don't have to come for 13 practices a month. I'm only required to do 10 practices a month. And I still feel kind of guilty when I'm not at practice. I do. It's like I don't have anything else going on in my life. But I also, at some point, I need to start doing more stuff like off skates. Someone actually asked me, what's this notation in the logbook? And I said, oh, I always do that so that they know that that's really me. CGF is my initials, and then the number is how many practices I've done this month. And Thursday night, I was the 7th practice I've done, and she's kind of looking at me like, holy shit, you've done 7 practices already this month? Yes, I have. Which means, technically speaking, I only need 3 more practices this month to make my requirement for the month. I mean, really, I'm only required to be there for 10 practices a month. She's kind of looking at me like, whoa, know me. You need to slow down. But yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot this week about myself. And I learned a lot about what I shouldn't be doing. It's another one of those bad habits that I've had to break. And I'm having to break. And I got to watch it. One of the comments I made was, I understand I have to do what's right for myself because I also have to do what's right for the team. I'm in a team sport. And part of my problem has always been, I look at it as, if I'm not trying hard enough, I'm not going to help the team out. I'm going to disappoint the team. But the inverse right now is true. I'm going to miss 2 bouts. That's not helping the team. That's not helping the team. So I really need to change my mindset around in that by helping myself out, by not playing injured, by not practicing injured, it helps the team out because I'm going to be there when they need me. Yeah. And that's what's important. They need me there on bout day. I'm not going to be there. And it's going to, like I said, it's going to hurt. But I'll get through it. I'm going to cheer them on. Don't worry. Well, I can't. I'm filming, so I got to stay quiet the whole time. Yeah, that's one of the bitches about filming is you can't make a sound. You can't say anything. You just got to sit there. Don't cheer. Don't yell. You can't do that. Yeah, but I'm going to be there. And I liked what my one teammate said. She says, you're going to be ready for 2020. And I will be. I really do hope I finish out the travel season. I said, I don't want to be that person that's only played in 1 bout and then I'm done. I want to play the last bout of the season. It's important to me. I want to be in that last team photo of the year. So I'm going to do everything I can to get up to the point where I can play. It's also the day after my 62nd birthday, and it's important to me that I be out on the track for that day. It's more important to me, like I said, than playing against ex-teammates. You know what? They'll have an open scrimmage some night at Hard, and I'll sign up for the thing, and I'll go. Probably against my best judgment, but I'll go. I'm kind of like anticipating there probably will be a little bit of shade thrown in my direction. I probably not publicly, but if I ask a few people, I probably will hear that there was some shade thrown toward my direction. And so what? I don't care, because I'm going to be working a Continental Cup this year. We got the Continental Cup, so we're going to be there. August 23rd to the 25th at Spooky Nook, which is, I believe, the largest indoor sports facility in the United States. I believe that's true. I have to look it up. But yeah, let me look this up because I have to. We are officially an amateur sports team. Eastbound and down. Spooky Nook. Spooky Nook, the largest indoor sports complex in all of North America. That is where we are holding the Continental Cup, aka the Eastbound Throwdown. This is where we're going to have teams from all over the eastern portion of the United States, and I think even some maybe like Canada or so. I don't know. But yeah, North America East, 2019 Women's Flat Track Derby Association Continental Cup, and we're hosting that. That's us. That's our gig, and I will be working that gig, basically because I'm retired. Essentially, I'm retired at this point, so I'll be working that. I'll be working as much as I can because why not? Yeah, why not do my thing? I want to be the person that goes around to all the other teams and goes, warm up in 5 minutes. Please follow me. Stuff like that. I'm good for doing stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna rock my big hoops today because I'm gonna be in my jersey. I'll be in my team jersey, of course. But live and learn, and I will. I'm going to be better. I'm going to actually treat myself the way I should treat myself because I need to be there for my team. I need to get better for myself, but I also need to be able to support my team in a way. And the last thing I want to read, one of the things that they did when I went in to see Dr. Payne is they took my vitals. And I'm really kind of impressed by this. In fact, even one thing when they weighed me and I saw what my weight was, I was like, holy gosh, that's really great. So here's what I had. This was all my stats when they brought me in. I'm 5'7" 3/4. So I always say 5'8", my BMI still is high. It says I'm obese. My weight is 220 pounds, 9.6 ounces. So about 220 and a half pounds, or 220 and almost 2/3. That was when I first went. I go, wow, that's really good, because you're going to hear what it used to be. My pulse rate, resting pulse rate was 69. Dude. And oxygen saturation, which I had to look up, they can actually measure the amount of oxygen in your blood system is 97%, which is really damn good. I mean, the oxygen flow of getting into my... Oh, yeah. 5'7", yeah, Dana. We are about the same, yeah. Oxygen saturation, 97% of my blood is O positive, so I got a lot of oxygen, which is good because if you're doing physical exertion, you need oxygen to be able to saturate your muscles, which is where you get all your energy. So the more oxygen saturation you have, the better you're going to be able to do physical activity because you can convert your triglycerides out of fat tissue into energy, sugars that are used as energy. And you need oxygen for that. You need triglycerides too, but that's beside the point. And my resting blood pressure was 116/64, which is really good. Because here were my stats before I got into Derby. Before I got into Derby, almost 2 years ago, it's coming up on 1 year and 11 months. By the time I hit the end of April, it'll be 1 year and 11 months. Because I first got into Derby on the 30th of May, 2017. So I'm coming up on my second anniversary. Before I got into Derby, I weighed 256 pounds. And my BMI was probably a lot more than what they're reporting here. Because you have to remember, I was sedentary for about 25 years. And I ate a lot of junk food. I was drinking a lot, too. I mean, like, hey, let's have a couple of beers with lunch. That kind of drinking. And then let's have a couple of beers with dinner. Or let's have like 2 or 3 glasses of wine. And let's maybe have a glass of wine when I'm cooling down here at the end of the night. Yeah, that was my lifestyle. Sedentary. The only exercise I really got was walking to and from work. So I weighed 256 pounds. Now I weigh 222, and I know a portion of that 222 is muscle. Because the last time I had a massage, which was about a year ago, the person who was working on me then, she even said, you've got I would say between 10 and 12% more muscle in your legs and in your glutes. She says, I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it. And that was after like less than a year of doing derby. Now I would imagine it's probably up more, 15, maybe 20%. Muscle weighs more than fat. So I'm guessing if you took away that muscle composition, my weight would actually be closer to 200 pounds. But, you know, you're always going to get that trade-off of you're going to build muscle because you're burning fat. You know, especially with derby, I'm going to build up my thighs and I'm going to build up my glutes. And we joke all the time in derby about the derby girl problem, which is the fact that your butt gets bigger, your thighs get bigger. It becomes impossible to find a pair of jeans or a pair of slacks that fits you correctly. So you get something that fits over your thighs and your butts and you buy a belt and you just like strap it down. And I've got that now. I've got pairs of jeans that don't fit me in the waist anymore. They'll ride on my hips. They'll actually slouch down and stop on my butt and my hips, but they're real loose in the waist because I've got that derby girl issue. And there's actually one of my teammates, Pixel. She even says one of the reasons why she wears like dresses all the time is because she can't get a pair of jeans to fit her. You know, she says I've got that problem. You know, so it's easier for me just to throw on like a shift dress than it is to try to find a pair of jeans that fit and then tighten it up with a belt and stuff like that. Derby girl problems. There was one time before I got into derby when I went to my HRT doctor. She would always take my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was constantly in the 140 range. I mean, we're talking like 140 over 80, you know, stuff like that, which is like borderline hypertension. And there was one time I went in there and she took my pulse and she took my blood pressure, and my resting pulse was like 78 and my blood pressure was 150 over, I think it was 92 or something like that. And she actually wanted to put me in the hospital at that point. She was like, girl, you're on the verge of a stroke. You are. And I tried to tell her it's because, you know, it was a 2.5 hour drive to get out to New Jersey to see her. But she was like, this is ridiculous. You know, this is hypertension. You're working yourself into a stroke. And she was like, I'm this close to calling an ambulance for you right now. Yeah, yikes. Yeah, real yikes. It was that was the highest, but every time I'd like go out and see her, before I got into derby, my blood pressure was always like 140 in that area. And then I got up to that 150 to one time. And she even warned me. She says, if you ever come in here again and your blood pressure hits 150, I am going to put you in the hospital. She goes, there's no getting around this one. She goes, you got to start doing something to get your blood pressure down because this is ridiculous. And I think the last time I went and saw my HRT doctor, which was last year when she retired, my blood pressure was like 128 over, it's like 128 over 70. And she was like, wow, this is really good. And I said, well, yeah, I've been playing derby for about a year. I've been doing derby for about a year. And she's like, well, keep it up because this is really doing you a lot of good. Because your blood pressure's down, your pulse rate is down. And my weight had come down. I think the last time I'd seen her, my weight was actually 234. So I've dropped like 12 pounds in that year. And my blood pressure has come down considerably. You see, they always say, one of the things that is always said is that, and Yes, Derby for the physical and emotional win. Because, well, sometimes not so much for the emotional. You got to learn to get over those head games, and that's something I had to learn when I joined the travel team. Is that one of the things that we have on our covenant that we sign is that whatever happens on the track stays on the track. It means you don't go home and wallow in a bad practice or a bad bout. You don't sit there and focus on all the little mistakes you may have made. Find the good stuff that you did and focus on that. But anything that happened on the track, you leave it on the track. And I've learned to do that. And I don't get as bent out of shape about Derby as I used to when I was with my other league, where I would focus on every goddamn thing that was bad and just, run it into the ground. And that was part of what really led to my emotional breakdown at this time last year. The anniversary of which is coming up. Yeah, I should have Crazy Lady anniversary. But it is said that just going to the rink and skating, normal skating, I mean, we're not even talking about the kind of shit I do. Just normal skating for an hour burns 600 calories. It does. Because when you're skating, you are primarily using the two largest muscle groups in your body. You're using your thighs and you're using your glutes or your butt, if you want to put it that way. You are using the two largest muscle groups in your body. And when you're getting into physical exertion, the triglycerides are coming out of those muscles and they're doing their little magic of burning off in your blood system and creating sugars that you use for energy. And your muscles, the energy is coming out of the fat. It's mixing with your triglycerides. It's creating sugars that your muscles are feeding off of. So the bigger your muscle groups, the better that energy transfer is going to be. And this also goes along with the oxygen saturation in your blood. That helps convert the sugars more efficiently so that you're actually getting more energy for the same amount of sugar. So it's like, if you think of it like different octane gases going from like an 87 up to a 92 octane, 87 is going to burn good, but some vehicles require that 92 because they demand a higher performance. If you have bigger muscles and you have a better oxygen saturation, you're going to convert the energy in your body much more efficiently. You're going to burn that fat much more efficiently and convert it into sugars more quickly and in greater capacity so it can be used by your muscles. And in skating, if you're using your two biggest muscle groups, you're going to get a lot of benefits in terms of burning fat. Yeah. That's why runners are doing the same thing. Runners are using their two biggest muscle groups in running. Anything you're doing with your legs, where you're doing a lot of exertion, you're doing it with the two biggest muscle groups in your body. Skating to me does not put as much strain on your body as running does because my knees will just not take the running. We actually have members of my league who are runners, and it's just like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. And they're really good. One of my teammates, she actually ran a 10K. She actually ran a 10K on Saturday and came to practice on Sunday. And even she was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I was like, damn, you ran, like 6.2 miles yesterday. And now you're doing derby practice. And she's like, yes, I know. That actually brought up something that was really interesting. Is when we were going over the physical therapies I can do in house. And my doctor, Dr. Payne, she says, "Are you doing, one of the things you can do is you do planks." And I said, "Oh, I do those now because I have to do mandatory exercises. So one of the exercises I'll do is planks." And she's like, "Well, what do you do as far as planks are concerned?" I said, "Oh, I'll do like 8 sets of 30-second planks or 7 sets of 45-second planks." And she just pauses for a second and she goes, "That's really intense." Because one of the things I'm doing is 3 sets of 30-second planks. And I was doing like 8 sets, which is nearly 3 times as many as what I'm doing here. And she did. She goes, that's like really kind of intense. And then I'm sitting there thinking, you should see what my teammates are doing. Because this is, as part of the travel team, part of our covenant is we do mandatory exercises off skates. If I'm not at practice, I'm doing some sort of exercise every day, which is getting me better. I had to scale back, and then for, one of the things I have to post is until further notice, I'm going to be doing this PT in-house and maybe adding a couple of things along the way. But for now, I'm really going to be working on just this normal PT every day I'll do it before I go to the bout today, as a matter of fact. And basically, I just put on some music and just do my stuff. So there it is. The health benefits of doing skating. You don't have to do derby. But skating is good for you. And once you get your balance down, it's all good. A lot of people are like, "I don't have the balance." You would really be surprised how many derby players had never skated before they went out for derby. I know probably 4 or 5 players who all admit I had never been on skates before I started playing derby. Before I became fresh meat, before I became a skater tot, I had never been on skates. And yeah, the falls you take. I hadn't been on skates for 40 years, which is basically the same as saying I had never been on skates, because I had forgotten everything. I had no balance. I had no endurance. I have famously said my first night at fresh meat practice, I actually did like 3/4 of a lap around the track, and I had to skate off and collapse in a corner on my back, gasping for air. That's how bad it was. That's how badly out of shape I was. And there were 2 more times that night. There you go. Grab your skates, do an hour of skating, and then get off. And it does, I'm talking to one of my friends here, Dana Miles, down in Atlanta, published author. You need to get with her. Look her up on the internet. She's a good author, good person. And get out on the skates. There are almost all skating rinks will offer classes to teach you how to skate, which you can go and not have to worry about dealing with all the little mini missiles and all these other people and stuff like that. Go to like these different places that will teach you how to skate. And one bit of real good advice to get, if you get to where you can skate, buy your own skates. You can usually pick up a good pair of skates for $100. You don't have to invest the kind of money into your skates that I have in mind. Right now, I have close to $500 in my pair of skates. You don't have to do that. The reason I have $500 invested in my pair of skates is because I need those for what I do. But if you're just going to go skating at the rink, you can get yourself a pair of skates for under $100. And boy, let me tell you, they are better than the rink rentals. You don't want to be on rink rentals any longer than necessary. So any skating rink will sell you a pair of skates for like $80 to $100. You can get a decent pair of skates, or you can spend 260 like I did. Of course, of which I got a discount for doing that. And then by the time I added wheels and bearings and toe stops and tape and toe guards and jam straps and laces, like I said, I've got close to $500 tied up in my skates. And that's nothing compared to what the top players have invested in their gear, where they're skating on like skates that really run $1,000. And then they add all the other stuff on, like wheels and toe stops and everything else, Of course, some of those people are also being sponsored by skate teams, so skate manufacturers. Yeah, that's our equipment. That's like I've said before, that's like being in NASCAR and having a car. That's our car. We're the engine. The skates are the vehicle. That's the drivetrain, the wheels, the suspension, everything. So that's our gear. So we invest a lot of money in our gear so that when we're out on the track, we're at our best. And it's like one of the things you'll notice is that just about everybody, their skates all start looking a little ragged after a while. It's because once you find a good pair of skates, you stay with them. You'll tape them up. You'll do all this stuff, and they get kind of funky looking after a while. But we love our skates. I love my Bonds, so I do. I never thought I would be this good as a skater. And I'm not anywhere near the top of even the people on my team. Jeez. I wish I could skate as good as some of the people on my team. So, there you go. Get to the rink, skate an hour, skate 90 minutes. Keep in mind, you're probably not going to be able to skate like a full hour. So like skate 20 minutes, take a water break. Make sure you always have water. So go out and skate another 20 minutes, rest, take a water break. Hell, I used to do that when I'd go to open skate, simply because there were so many people on the floor that after a while your brain starts going, I can't take this. And I actually had a coach recommend one time going to open skates because she said this is a great way to learn pack avoidance. Skate at a pretty high rate and just weave in and out of people. She says it's a great way to develop pack avoidance because you learn how to get close to people and not hit them. Well, that's an hour from now, so you better get going. Yeah, 10:30 in the morning, there's usually not going to be a lot of kids there, so yeah, do that. Down in ATL there. I need to hit an open skate. I have not been to an open skate in a while. Once I heal up, I'm not going to go there now. Coaching would crucify me. They would. They'd be, Nomi, what are you doing? Oh, I just thought I'd go to open skate. No, you're off skates. What's wrong with you? Yeah, I can't do that anymore, so I got to take care of myself. Because I essentially am probably the oldest rookie in WFDA, and I got to keep up with that. Yeah. All right. I've talked for an hour and 24 minutes. I think this is like my longest video. So talked about my pains, talked about my good news, talked about how good skating is for you. It is. I always promote it. It's like skating is like the best thing in the world for you, as far as I'm concerned. I know a lot of people go, I don't have any balance. I'd kill myself. Yeah, so would I. So did I when I first started. Get one of those little tripod gears that a lot of the skate rinks now have and use those to develop your balance, really. But I love skating. I do. I love playing derby. That's why I get so upset. That's why I get so emotionally invested in this these days, because I do love it. I do love the sport. So, all right, I'm done. About day. I will see you next week. I'll have more to talk about. Take care. Bye.